Hey there, MM150, just checking in here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Concept 2 project, your paper. I've taken a few little notes here and wanted to go through a few things here with regards to your paper. So just had a few questions and wanted to make sure that everything was clear with what I'm expecting to do. So what I want you to do is I want you to watch a documentary. It's your choice. I just need you to clear it with me first. I want to make sure that it's, you know, you're not picking a 10-minute documentary or something like that. I do want a professional looking documentary. I've offered a lot of choices. I can offer a lot more. If you guys have questions or you're curious, there's so many resources out there, especially with so many streaming services that are great documentaries. So pick a doc, watch it. I'm still waiting on some of the students, some of you guys to check in with what doc you're wanting to look at, what one you're wanting to screen. Get with me on those, and again, I can help you out if you need to. Construct a paper off of this doc. So it's going to be about a 3 to 5 page scholarly paper based off of your viewing of it. You may need to view it a few times to get all of the information that you need for this paper. Find sources, cite these sources. These sources can be about how the documentary was made, maybe in an interview with the filmmaker, etc. Whatever you can find out there. So Google Scholar is great for any scholarly resources. You just go to, if you Google Scholar, it'll take you right to it. And when you search, it'll actually have some scholarly resources, which it will provide. So one of these sources should deal with Bill Nichols. I think Bill Nichols is extremely important to documentaries and to scholarly documentary analysis. I love his work. I have issues with his work, and I think that that's what makes a good writer, is somebody that you can actually look at and not always agree with, or not always agree 100% down lines, but you can at least appreciate their work and the work that they put into it. So I want you to identify your film with what Nichols has said and Nichols' modes and methods to analyzing documentaries. Just keep in mind, it's not always clean. It's never gonna 100% fall, once we actually talk here a little bit about Nichols, one mode or another. That's fine. I fully agree that it's never gonna be 100%. Make your, and I also don't think that there's a wrong answer. If you can base your reasoning with facts from what you've read about Nichols or what you've heard about Nichols, then all in. Go ahead, go for it. So compare and contrast it. That'll be the next part of your documentary. So compare and contrast it to other famous documentaries or other documentaries that are out there that you've screened, maybe look at what inspired that documentary. When you're comparing and contrasting it, maybe another famous doc in your scholarly analysis, you found out that they were encouraged by another famous documentary or another documentarian. Put that information in there. Get as much information as you can about the doc that you can. Then wrap up your paper with your general review on your feelings on the film. So your summary is going to be your overall feelings on the film, more than just, I liked it, it was good. Give me more than that. Dig a little bit deeper. What elements did you like? What elements do you think that the filmmaker did well? What elements do you think that the filmmaker did poor? Just because you critically analyze something doesn't mean that you didn't like it. I don't know of many films that are 100% down the line that, hey, I loved it from top to bottom, Look at it with a little more critical eye than that. So it is due on May 1st. It'll be submitted into Blackboard or Dropbox. I haven't exactly figured out for sure what I want to have it you guys submitted to, but one of the two, it will be submitted. Any questions, just drop into my virtual office hours or email me, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So I have included, I'll jump to the screen capture, I've included No Film School's kind of Cliff Notes version of Nichols' 6 Modes of Documentary. There is a lot of resources out here, but I think this gives a fairly decent Cliff Notes version of what I'd be looking for, and I do want to touch on a little bit. So the 6 modes are poetic. Poetic is a very tonal, and as you can see here, poetic deals with tone and rhythmic, looking at specific angles, you know, that the filmmaker takes in order to actually develop a mood. So quick little clip from Leni Riefenstahl. Leni Riefenstahl is a Nazi, but you can see the angles and the long shots and the framing and everything like that is very important to Leni Riefenstahl. As she's doing here, this is from Olympia, the documentary about the Olympics held in Berlin. So everything's very, very dramatic and shown in a way that just builds up the German athlete. That's essentially is what they're trying to do here. So expository is the next one. Voice of God type of films. Nature films are very big in the expository mode. So this is March of Penguins, and nothing says voice of God more than Morgan Freeman does. But just a little clip here from March of Penguins, from the March of Penguins trailer. So observational. So I feel like at this point, this is the most common form. You know, when you've got every single person has a film camera with them, which I anticipate you to be using here for your vlogs, but I feel like it's the most common form now with reality television. Direct cinema has a big part in observational mode and cinema verite. You set the camera and capture real life. So again, we kind of talked about some of the issues that people have with observational as a whole. Does it actually exist? But observational is, I feel like, the most common form at this point of documentary filmmaking. And a clip here from one of my favorite documentary films, Harlan County, USA. It's a great documentary by Barbara Koppel, dealing with union strikes, coal mines in West Virginia. It's a great film. It really is. I really encourage that film if you can track it down and check it out sometime. I'm not going to make you watch it, but it is a great film. So participatory. Again, there's elements of Harlan County that actually are participatory. Barbara Koppel becomes a person in that is a star of this film. You know, the camera becomes a star of the film. But Errol Morris, Morgan Spurlock, Michael Moore, and it served as a kind of a counter to observational. So it's weird to me that I say that Harlan County straddles both observational and participatory, but you know, there's elements, you know, different modes in all of these films. So, but they're essentially be a part of the show. So, Michael Moore. So, again, Michael Moore is his film, so he makes himself a part of it. Starting with Roger and Me, this one is Where to Invade Next. But this is the essence of Michael Moore's work. So reflexive. I feel like the reflexive is the toughest one to identify. And you won't really come across this as much as very abstract in nature, very meta mode. This is kind of how it's actually quoted, is it acknowledges the nature of the documentary and flaunts it. So it's not necessarily the truth, but a reconstruction of the truth. So it's a very deep, very meta look on reflexive documentaries. I won't go too much into it because I think they're kind of boring. Performative. Marlon Riggs, Tongues Untied. So this is a gorgeous documentary. It's very emotional. It deals with the social impact social impact, yet does it in a very performative, very poetic way. Quick little clip of Tongues Untied. So essentially, Marlon Riggs in Tongues Untied, he deals with the Marlon Riggs is a gay African American in Los Angeles in the 80s, and he deals with that culture and the struggles within that culture. But he does it in a very performative and, like I said, just very beautiful way. So that's just a quick little thumbnail sketch that I can give you. I didn't want to go too long with this, and already I'm sitting here at 11.5 minutes. But so to summarize everything that I've already talked about, send in your doc. Let me know what you need. Email me. Hop on one of my video timelines. Whatever you need to do, get it to me. As far and that'll kind of wrap up what Concept 2 is about. For your final project, this will not be something that you guys can wait until the last week to toss together. You know, I need to see some artistic elements. The channel needs to be started. You know, you need to get headlines and everything like that. Once you get your channel started, even before you've started putting anything into it, go ahead and send it to me. I'd love to see the progression from the day that you started it to where it is on the final. That's exciting to me, and I can give advice and tips along the way. So once you start your channel, invite me along. I will subscribe, and as you're actually building it out. So do not, I cannot emphasize enough, wait until the last minute to try to put together this channel. That will not work, and your grade will be reflected in it. So that's all I got for right now. I will have office hours. Hopefully this is up before office hours tomorrow, but I will post those on Blackboard and we will get those rolling. That is all I've got for right now. So we will be in touch. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to me. I'm out.